Hello again, everybody. It's me, Marcus, and I review stuff. Today I'm reviewing the song Gaskrankinstation by the Headless Chickens. I've never heard of the Headless Chickens before. Never heard this song. This is a totally blind review. No idea what to even expect. No idea what genre I'm in for. This is going in blind. But with a name like Gaskrankinstation and the way it's spelled and everything, and with a band name like the Headless Chickens, and looking at this artwork that I see here, I feel like I'm in for a pretty bizarre time, which I'm actually kind of looking forward to. So this does come as a request. If you would like to request something yourself, definitely do so in the comments below. I take all requests. In fact, I have so many that it's probably going to be a while till you see your request, but I'm still reading them. I'm still looking at them. I go through the comments every day and write down more and more suggestions. So just know that your suggestion, your request will be seen. Anyway, let's listen. Gaskrankinstation by the Headless Chickens. Here we go.
My name's Ivan, my occupation. Well, I've been working 20 years at the Gaskrankinstation downtown. I love the cars, you know. Without me, they wouldn't go very far. I like the smell, I like my wife. But my wife, she makes me feel like such a jerk when I can't get it up. Sometimes I look at her, I don't feel anybody in there. I got a cat, cold Ed. He's a vicious little bugger when it comes to being fed. I've got a TV set or two, but we'll have to get a man in, 'cause one of them blew up. Maybe one day I might just take up the piano again, but you sunshine knew all the facts, but I'm much too tired to think. Am I here just looking down from the edge of a cliff? That's my body. Sometimes I sit in myself and I don't feel anybody here.
That was a lot of fun. What a weird, just weird, eclectic ride that was. That was fantastic. You know, I really loved the electronic instrumentation. Looks like this came out in 1991 originally. So wow, I was 1 year old. It makes sense that I probably never heard of this. Plus, it doesn't seem like, I mean, their Wikipedia page is very much like very small. I just feel like maybe this band wasn't well known, so this is kind of an underground request, and thank you for that. I mean, I haven't really, ever heard of this band before, but it feels like if you take out their lyrics and their singer and add like a pop singer and pop lyrics, this could easily be like an electronic pop song. That was getting tons and tons of radio play, but because they decide to be very weird and quirky with their lyrics and their singing style, I think that adds so much more to the song, and I feel like I appreciate the band for taking that risk. But wow, this was a fun one to listen to. Anyway, let's talk about the lyrics, as we always do. So, interesting lyrics. Well, my name's Ivan. My occupation, well, I've been working 20 years at the Gaskrankinstation. So I'm assuming he means like a gas station, right? Convenience store, what have you. Gaskrankinstation downtown. I love the cars, Without me, they wouldn't go very far. I like the smell. I like the work. So I wonder if this song is sort of a take on your average working man. He's worked 20 years at the gas station. He loves cars, and it's sort of that down home, like they wouldn't get very far without me, like that sort of down home morality of the working man, if that makes sense. But my wife, she makes me feel like such a jerk when I can't get it up. Sometimes I look at her and I don't feel anybody in there. So again, I think this is a commentary on the average working man. You see, especially until recently, and even now in current days, you see that sort of, they call it boomer humor now, where it's like the husband always hates his wife. You always see comics of how much the husband hates his wife. You always see on TV shows the husband hates his wife. Stuff like that. And it's just such an odd thing. I think the younger generations are finally starting to say, like, why was the older generation obsessed with men hating their wives? Anyway. I kind of get that feeling here, though. It's again, the average working man goes to an honest, simple job, if you will, has a pretty fucked up home life. Him and the wife don't get along. I guess he feels inadequate because of his, erectile dysfunction. And his wife is checked out. Sometimes I look at her and I don't feel anybody in there. I got a cat called Ed. He's a vicious little bugger when it comes to being fed. I know that I have two cats. I know how that goes. I got a TV set or two, but we'll have to get a man in because one of them blew up. Maybe one day. I might just take up the piano again, but what the hell. So again, to me, this is like an ode to the average man, the average working man, sort of being content with his TVs, being content with calling people to fix his problems, being content with not really learning the skills and the things that he wanted to learn throughout his life. Most of the time, everything is just swell around here. I got a couple of friends, and they're both called Dave, Sometimes those guys just don't know how to behave. They get drunk, and boy, you just can't take them anywhere. I feel like I'm talking to a guy at like a bar who's just like, he's still wearing his work clothes, and he's just kind of there like happy-go-lucky. But my wife don't approve, and she keeps on asking me when we're going to move. Why can't we have a child? Sometimes I wonder why I never managed to knock some sense into her. Ah, shit. You know what I'm talking about. As long as my heart keeps thumping, I guess I'll keep on pumping gas. Sometimes I wonder if there really is a God, but when I walk home from work, well, I usually go by that big new church, and that young priest's eyes are shining bright. I look, but I don't see anybody in there. At night, I watch the news. Now that's interesting. I look, but I don't see anybody in there. I wonder if he's talking about the church, like no one is going to the church. Or I wonder if he's actually talking about the priest, right? And I look, and that young priest's eyes are shining bright. I look, but don't see anybody in there. Like I'm looking at the priest, but I don't see his personality, his individuality. You know, I think that might be what he's saying there, which I think would be a really interesting statement to make. I think that's kind of cool. At night I watch the news, but I like the lady newsreader more than the reviews of the day. What are they on about? I wish I knew all the facts, but I'm much too tired to think, and my head is looking down from the edge of a brink. That's my body. Sometimes I sit in myself, and I don't feel anybody in there. So yeah, to me, again, this is an ode to just the normal working man. You know, I'm sure we've all either met someone like this or have seen someone like this on, portrayed on TV or a movie or what have you, or we know someone who knows someone like this who just, they go to work, they go home, they hate their wife, they have questions about God and religion and whatnot, but they're just the average working man. There's not much to say about them. They work an honest, noble day of work, and that's all they have going for them. Which I don't want to sound like I'm judging, but that's just how some people live. And if that's what works for them, that's fine. I think that's kind of what he says here is like everything's just fine around here. If that's what works for him, if that's what leads him to like a happy, fulfilling life, then great. But I feel like the band maybe doesn't feel like that is the most fulfilling way to spend your life. I think that the lyrics here are very interesting. It's really interesting to take a step back and just kind of address the way that we live in our normal everyday lives. I think it's creative. I give it 2 thumbs up. The instrumentation here was a lot of fun as well. I really like that little beat they had going throughout. It was just a lot of fun. Again, it's sort of that electronic sound. I feel like if used differently, it could have easily been a pop sound, a synth pop, a techno pop, whatever you want to call it, type of song. But because of the way they used it, it made it so much more. I didn't even know what to classify this as. Electronic rock. I mean, who knows? I think that's kind of the beauty of it, is it does in some ways transcend genre. I will say I really enjoyed the drums throughout. I feel like they came in at the right times, and they always felt like they were building up to something more, and eventually we did get that something more. They kind of picked up the pace and really threw the guitars in there hot and heavy. Guitar was great throughout. The guy sounded really fun. He just had that quirky singing. He reminds me of somebody I've heard before, but I can't put my finger on it. I want to say maybe the guy from REM a little bit. He also kind of reminds me of Presidents of the United States of America. That singer, that guy, reminds me of him a little bit. Just real quirky. The lyric writing was a lot of fun. I think this band made a really good song. Like it's weird to listen to lyrically, but instrumentally it's a whole lot of fun, and I think it just really works together so well. I give it 2 thumbs up instrumentally and vocally. Honestly, I just had a lot of fun listening to this one. As far as replay value goes, look, this one was real cool. Like there's so much I like about this one that I do want to hear it again, and in fact I can't wait to hear it again. So I'm definitely gonna put this one on the playlist. It's definitely gonna get its time in the sun. It's just interesting. It's interesting. We have so much music nowadays that talks about how rich you are, how great you are, etc., etc., etc. It's interesting to see a critique or a take of just the everyday working man. I just think that's interesting. So there's a lot to be said about this one. There's a lot of fun to be had here, and to me there's a lot of replay value, so I give it 2 thumbs up. Really enjoyed this one across the board. Thank you so much for whoever requested this one, and that's it for the video. I'll check to see if they're on Spotify. If they are, you can definitely find them in my Spotify playlist down below. It's got every single song I've listened to so far on my channel. Makes for a pretty weird listen, a pretty long day of listening to. If you want to support me, just consider doing all the normal stuff you do on YouTube, like and subscribe and comment. That's it for me, guys. Hope you're staying safe and healthy, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.